You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com. Hey, it's Chris Spangle, the host of We Are Libertarians, and I'm here to tell you about our advertiser for this month, and it is the Jason Stapleton program. Jason is a good friend of our show and has been the only guy that we've let buy advertising on our program. You know that we're not really big on paid advertisements, but we believe in what Jason does on a daily basis. He does what we do. He examines current events from a libertarian perspective, and he does it 5 days a week. Go check out Jason's podcast at iTunes. Check out his YouTube channel. It is amazing. His video setup is just so beautiful and professional. Jason is just professional. You know, he's everything that we're not. So visit jasonstapleton.com. You won't be disappointed. It's a highly engaging program, and he's a great guy. And we at We Are Libertarians love Jason, and we want you to love him too. So please, go to jasonstapleton.com and check out his program. Download his podcast, check out his YouTube, and visit jasonstapleton.com. Shit round of applause. Do better. I had just had to have my Bittner moment. Please clap. Welcome to We Are Libertarians for this week, live at Morty's Comedy Joint. We are here in a crowd of tens and tens of people. Thank you all for
of our listenership.
Yeah, thank you all for coming out. Always to my left, but maybe not tonight, is Greg Lenz.
I am on your alt-right.
On my alternate right. And then Tyler Weiss.
Every time.
I don't know how to say your name.
I know. Nobody. Just call me Tad.
Tad? Okay.
Tad Western.
Why did you change your name on Facebook to Tad Western?
Got drunk one night and just decided to change my name. I can't change it back for like 4 months or something.
You're screwed now.
I know.
They don't let you change it back for 30, 40 days?
40 days.
40 days, wow. That's almost as good as the time that you got kicked off.
60 when you're dead.
Right, yeah. Jesse Riddle played one of the greatest pranks ever without knowing what he did.
Yeah.
So it used to be Greg Lenz on Facebook, and now
there still is a Greg Lenz.
Right.
Memorial page.
I don't know how you got it back.
I had to send in all my stuff that I'm alive.
And so Greg got banned for a short period of time on Facebook as Greg Lenz for which meme?
No, it was for that Brian Kill. I got banned.
You were trolling the troll.
I got banned for cyberbullying the guy that threatened to blow up a mall.
Right. So we grew up in Plainfield, and there was this guy who was threatening to blow up the Plainfield school, the Plainfield Mall, and so Greg thought that he'd perform a public service and started bullying Brian Kill on the internet.
Until he reported me for cyberbullying.
He reported you, and you got kicked off of Facebook, but not him.
I did, because the police wanted to have somebody to track.
Right.
But not me. Apparently,
Right.
You know, that's the way it goes. Trying to save America.
So during your ban on Facebook and Messenger, Jesse Riddle did what?
He reported me dead.
He just thought it'd be funny.
Oh, yeah. Of course he did.
And
so funny, Jesse.
You have 48 hours to report that you are actually alive, and you were unable to fulfill that, so you died.
I died.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Should we talk about
Harambe.
Should we talk about how you
peace.
two met?
How Tyler and I met?
How Tyler and yourself became friends?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if that's appropriate,
Facebook?
though.
Is it?
Is it appropriate?
No.
It's an ongoing federal investigation.
See, we have lost all track of what is decent and right in society at this point. Where we, at least once a day, we look at each other and go, was that normal?
Well, like if they
Hell
had,
if I know.
If they had found Lauren Spear, I think it'd be fine.
Right.
But I think by talking about it and, you know, all
I don't
the
know.
eerie ways she's popped up in his life for real, I think it's a bit...
So anyways, so Aaron
great.
is Tyler's cousin, and we were put into a group chat, and you were talking about it. You decided
let's air it out.
that
need another
you would
beer.
give him an introductory Russell, right?
yes. No.
No, I was introduced to the group, and it
Aaron
was
said, do
supposed
your
to be a
best.
Do your best.
brutalist group or
Okay.
something. But so I, solicited some gay sex for Greg on Craigslist.
Would you like to clarify that, Greg? How
Yes,
did
it was interracial gay sex.
I didn't think that mattered, but
And it was Craigslist, and I'm classy, and I would only get on Grindr.
But I photoshopped a picture and
Photoshopped a male phallus
yeah.
as large as one could conceive.
A lot like
pretty
Aria
big.
Torres's.
Oh, she's gonna kill you. And posted it on Craigslist. And
With my phone number.
you got some phone calls.
Did you?
No, because I fought back before I got
Okay.
a call.
So-
Or apparently I'm not that appealing to African American homosexuals.
Well, they're
In
more,
the Broad Ripple area, right?
I guess.
they're generally more of a gym type. So, how did you fight back?
Greg got me.
Well, I spent about 30 minutes taking pictures of Tyler and then all the pictures I could find of Lauren Spear at college parties. And then photoshopped Tyler into every picture. And then got on Facebook and was going to send a message to her page, her memorial page, and like the search
awful.
page saying, "These are from the night she disappeared. You might want to look into this individual." Except I didn't send it. I just screenshotted it.
You had it on the fax machine and said you have 10 minutes
Yeah, I
to
told
take
Aaron.
that off of Craigslist.
Yeah, I go, Aaron, tell your cousin that needs to come down off Craigslist right now, or else all of a sudden he's going to find
Yeah.
out that he's going to be detained.
So it was pretty much a from there on out. It's just been
It's been love.
yeah. We don't make memes
Yeah.
of each other anymore.
Mutual respect,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mutually assured
Yeah,
destruction.
destruction. Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler's part of the brutalist group. We're going to talk a little bit about the alt-right tonight
I got
as
kicked
that has popped up. Tyler is a meme maker extraordinaire, and as is Greg. Greg, if you've seen my new profile picture, I have become an ANCAP according to my profile picture.
Pure leader.
Yeah, so I've got black and yellow. So now I can. I'm the most right person in the room. My opinion is superior to all others, and you're all just going to have to eat it. And
Is that different than what we've always done?
shut up. You made that in a matter of 10 minutes at dinner at Bonefish Grill.
Well, everyone else was talking amongst their friends.
Right.
I got sat with the awkward table where I didn't know anybody, and
So you did the
they're
most-
feeling not included. So the
Now, by awkward, he meant he had to sit next to Bittner.
well, no, but you guys weren't talking to me.
Oh.
I felt obligated to talk to the people we didn't know
Why? Why would you do that?
because they had made the comment. Well, it's like there's a wall up because
Yeah.
you guys were talking amongst yourselves.
Well, I actively had turned my back to them.
Yes,
I don't. So I
you were
understand.
you were outright hostile.
I don't know them.
Well, how are you're supposed to meet new people? Come
I
on.
don't need new people. I don't need new people in my life.
Some of us would beg to differ.
Yeah, I'm trying to prune people out.
Okay.
Anything happening out there? You guys okay?
No.
Is this thing on?
Is he all right?
So
There's
the
so much cat
alt-righter.
hair on this microphone. I swear. I'm
So-
gonna have a hairball.
So memes are really hot right now, is what we're saying. Memes are so hot. I'm even wearing a meme on my shirt. It's what is the Kraken, the Catten, where the cat is taking
Is that
down the
from
thing?
when you went to the Internet Cat Festival?
It is. I wore this to the Internet Cat Festival.
I remember that very well.
Yeah. Don't knock this shirt.
I remember that was the night your hymen grew back.
Quite the opposite, my friend.
Ooh. Did you get some
Christy,
pussy?
don't you like this shirt? See, she said it's very sexy. So I went to her because she's a sure thing. So in terms of a compliment, not blowjobs. Damn.
Well, all right.
Did I say something or what? Thank you, Christy, for bringing not for blowjobs.
For the blowjob?
No, but for
just keep
bringing
digging
3
that hole.
friends. Christy, why don't you just come up here? Have a seat. Give a big round of applause to our super fan. Now, Christy is the biggest fan of We Are Libertarians. Would you say that that's accurate? Into the mic here. There you go. Leave the phone alone. We'll get the
Sure.
selfie later. I know what you're doing.
Later.
Ooh.
I don't know what's going to happen later.
I'm telling
kind
you,
of
this
scared.
shirt is a pussy magnet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think my hymen just grew back.
Oh.
Yahtzee.
Well, you won. The audience hasn't liked a thing we've said, but you apparently are gold. Now, You were just at Fump Fest. Right?
I heard you guys talked about it. I haven't listened to the show yet.
Yeah, on Bob and Tom, and she donated the sponsorship money. So I don't know if you knew this, we were actually sponsors of Fump Fest.
You told me, you said that we were sponsors so much as that she subsidized it and we took credit.
That's exactly right.
Exactly.
Very
yes.
libertarian individual responsibility.
That's what we do.
I
here.
even brought you the poster with your little advertisement on it.
Little advertisement.
It's huge, though.
You got spangled.
I have a very
Huge.
large. I have no problem in that area in terms of advertisements.
Okay.
Now, so thank you for doing that. So it looked like a very fun time. And
It was.
Fump Fest is what?
FUMP stands for the Funny Music Project, and it's new comedy music put out at least twice a week on the website, thefump.com. And
That's Fump. Fump.com.
FUMP.
Oh, F.
F-U.
Now, you actually have a radio show there, don't you?
I have a radio show on dementiaradio.org. Yes, it's on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. I don't even know what time my show is.
You're really great at this.
I'm not a self-promoter. I'm sorry.
You need to be a Luke ski. That's for your Fump friends.
Oh, my God. That's
now I'm doing
awesome.
jokes for just one person in the room.
That is awesome.
Fump humor.
Well, it's me, so of course you should
Right.
do jokes just for me. But anyways, Fump Fest is a gathering of comedy musicians. If you're a fan of the Bob and Tom show, Tim Cavanaugh was there, Paul and Storm were there, and actually Storm fell down some stairs and broke his thumb and screwed up his knee. And he plays guitar, so it was before their concert. And they're the guests of honor, so they're the big draw. And one of them,
One
was
of them
injured.
is in a full body cast. Hilarious.
And he played the show okay, and then I guess the next day his knee was swollen up bigger than his thigh, so hopefully he's going to be all right.
Why did you tell that story? That's so sad. Comedy.
But he was a trooper, and he did the show, and they were awesome.
Paul and Storm sing one of my favorite songs. You do
Which
it,
one?
you get stuck in your head. Enormous penis.
That's
I take
not
a look
Paul
at
and
my
Storm.
it's Da Vinci's Notebook, which is the same
Notebook.
thing.
It's not the
I
same thing.
take a look at my enormous penis, and the world starts. I forget the rest.
That's all he cares about
Is it
is
a
the
show
enormous,
tune?
For
the enormous penis part.
bringing the most people to the event, I just start picking books up for you because
I haven't read the last one yet.
Yeah.
What was the last one? Spanking City Hall?
Spanking City Hall. Yeah,
I have a job where I can read books.
This
now,
one's
so
nonfiction.
now.
yeah.
Okay.
This is not. This
Unlike
is,
that one.
None of this is made up. Unlike Spanking City Hall, where not a word of it is true, except the part where she was a dominatrix that. Never mind. I'm trying to avoid
What
lawsuits.
is this book about? Ooh, Mary Ruwers.
This is
Okay.
Healing Our
Allegedly.
World in an Age of Aggression.
I hear that's a good book.
Thanks to our friends at the Advocates for Self-Government for giving this to us.
Thanks, Chloe.
Yeah, not Bittner. Chloe.
Never Bittner.
Uh,
And actually, he's not here, so I beat him
do you,
because.
do you
I've been
think?
here
And
every
go ahead
time,
and get your
not
camera
him.
ready. I know you want the selfie.
Oh my gosh.
Now, can we talk about Chloe?
What
Do you-
about her?
Well,
No.
Do you think
Not
can we
yet.
mention that yet?
No.
All right.
Not
I
yet.
really want to.
We will, but it's not
And the
time.
more you say no, I shouldn't talk about that. The more I
No,
want to.
she's still got 6 months left, so we shouldn't talk about that.
Rehab. There you go. Thank you, everybody. Give a big round of applause.
Thank
to
you,
I'll
Chris
give you the
Christy.
Mayo.
banner
Thank
later.
you.
Thank you.
So,
Oh,
Are you okay?
You just pulled a pollen storm or whatever.
if you fall and break, then Bowers has to give We Are Libertarians an insurance settlement. I think that's the deal we signed with them. She fell and hurt her knee, and I've got a neck brace on her. So, should we talk about the alt-right?
I don't know. I feel like this is not going to go well.
I'm cranky.
You are.
I'm.
You don't like the guys that literally like they are the OG meme boys of the internet that are toxic and divisive, and all of a sudden you're just throwing that label off like it's not yours.
It's not. It's society at large. I'm single Spangle gets very cranky after a certain period of time. Yeah. Thank you, Jim. He knows what I'm talking about.
It's an uplifting podcast.
I just get very. I'm like, I hate libertarians, so you're a Republican. No, I hate them more, so you're a Democrat. No, they're even worse. I start getting cranky with everyone.
I'm an authoritarian.
I'm a Chris
You're gonna bake the
Spangletarian.
fucking cake, and you're gonna like the cake, okay?
I held an AR
an AR-17. What are
You
they
pointed
called?
both of them at me, actually.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
held
you went
weapons
full
of
Columbine.
mass destruction.
He had good trigger discipline, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the alt-right, Hillary actually made a brilliant move this past week or two or whatever. Hillary hasn't made very many brilliant moves in terms of political strategy this year because it's so opposite of what normally goes on. But she painted the alt-right as the soldiers for Trump, which they largely are.
They created meme magic.
But she essentially legitimized this movement of internet trolls in an effort to paint them as, with all the racism that is found in alt-right memes and on 4chan.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, you do. Well, if you don't know what I mean, then you're too far gone.
I know what you mean.
There's no saying.
Are you trying to say Hitler did something wrong?
I see nothing wrong. Well, then lift up the hood so you can hear.
Everybody loves a good Klan reference.
Well, get ready. Buckle up. I got a lot. I did a lot of research on the Klan for this.
Did you now?
I was on Klan websites today.
No, you weren't.
Oh, absolutely. I was at work. Did you know that you can get a Klan robe for $130 from the national headquarters?
Really?
Deliverable 4 to 6 weeks.
A Klan room?
A Klan robe.
Oh, a robe.
Yeah.
How much?
130. Why do you want to know?
I was saying that's high. It's a sheet.
That's no. The point is that you can. I had this question in my mind the other day. I thought,
I wonder
did
how
they
much
make
Klan
their
rope
own?
is.
Yeah, but it basically.
Are they tailored?
I went to this Klan website and it basically read like 4chan.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about that more. The audience apparently does not care. I'm giving you all my best Klan material. Okay?
Was this at work?
Work with us here. So the alt-right, she legitimized this political movement, which I don't think is a movement. It's just basically a bunch of virgins posting on 4chan and Reddit some Pepe memes, and that doesn't make it a political movement, does it? So explain what the alt-right is.
I'll let Tyler start it off.
I have no idea what the alt-right is, honestly.
Oh, you really don't?
No, I have no idea.
That's why you're here. You're supposedly the alt-right expert.
You're the one that's
No,
supposed to know.
I have no idea. I see people post alt-right this, alt-right that. I have no idea what the hell it is.
But you're bathing in it. It's Pepe memes, Dat Boy memes.
If memes are
It's not
a political...
Pepe memes and that boy memes.
It's Dat Boy memes and Pepe memes.
No, it's that those memes
it's
came
of
out
Hillary pooping her pants.
incontinent
Well,
Hillary.
that's true, though.
Right. See? You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, there's a Getty image of her getting on an airplane, and she has a shit stain on the back of her light pink pantsuit.
Well, that's just sad.
Incontinent Hillary.
I know.
Trump's probably not going to want to do breaks during the debates because he's hoping she'll shit her pants on stage.
Did you just make that up?
Yeah, I did, but it'd be a good rumor to start. No, the alt-right is it's a group of people that they're internet trolls. They're international, and they are on 4chan and 8chan, but they became legitimate political mover. They're a legitimate political trend or group of messengers that are very loud in an otherwise boring conservative right-wing messaging outlet. I mean, really, the messengers of the right are Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, Rush Limbaugh to an extent, Glenn Beck, and they all preach the same gospel, just varying degrees, and it's pretty dead. It's been dead for a while, and these guys are the new young mean boys of the internet, and they're unafraid of being called racist, bigoted homophobes. They don't care about it whatsoever. They say, okay, sure, whatever. All right, what's next?
Yeah. They actually welcome it. The point is to be the most offensive.
Well, the point is that they don't believe that that's credible, real, or means anything, and so they mock it by owning it.
Being called racist doesn't mean it. I mean,
No, there's only one race, human race.
Okay, I don't disagree, but racism, to say that racism doesn't exist is
There's
not
cultural
true.
differences. Like cultural Marxism. There was a great article today on the Daily Caller, and the article was about how white males of roughly 21 to 35 really 45, are tired of being told they're the reason for all the inequality, the wrongness that exists in society. Mm-hmm. And this is the natural response to all the years of being told they need to embrace, diversity, affirmative action, inclusiveness, just thing after thing after thing. It's, cultural Marxism is the invasion of other cultures into an existing culture.
So
subset.
essentially along the lines of, well, if I'm going to get called this anyways, I might as well mock it.
Yeah, they're going to call me that no matter what I
Right.
say, so I might as well just own it rather than spend the little time I have explaining it.
It's very Alinskyite in terms of marginalizing your opponent by mocking them.
Exactly, and then the word doesn't mean anything, and then they have nothing to hurl except bad ideas.
Right, but when you say the N-word, ironically...
That's the one that isn't...
It doesn't lose its power.
That's not the one that gets tossed around.
Yeah, the F word for our homosexual friends.
A bundle of sticks, if you will.
Right, small cigarettes. That they use that. That's almost a term of endearment.
Oh, that's like so. Milo Yiannopoulos, he's the tech editor for Breitbart. He has been going on a tour to college campuses across the United States, really trying to stoke the flames of the restrictions on free speech that have been going on.
Sure.
You know, the idea after the University of Missouri and the safe spaces that were needed for African American or black students. And so Milo started a speaking tour, and it is named the Dangerous Faggot Tour. And that's what they
Right.
essentially called him. He went to University of Pittsburgh. They started crying. There were students that were crying that were interviewed. He went to Yale and gave a speech in full American headdress and said, yes, I am.
Like an Indian.
Yeah, yes, I am a Christian, Jew, homosexual.
Excuse me, Native American.
Yeah. He said, he opens the speech by saying, yes, I am a Christian, Jew, homosexual, Jewish in origin, not in practice, and that loves black cock. In full Native American
not
headdress.
Black Hawk like the team.
Yeah.
Black Cock.
That
Yeah.
can't get
Right. All right.
He
And
wasn't
so, like,
he wasn't like headgear.
Right.
Yeah, he's in headgear.
He's in headgear. He just
Speaking to the
Right.
Yale senior class, like that's for their political union, and so that's what he does. It's incendiary. It's a natural response to people that are tired of being told they're the reason that poverty exists or inequality exists or that slavery happened or that yada 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 yada.
Well,
yada.
working in the comedy industry, a lot of comedians won't do college tours anymore because
They
it's
can't
too
take it.
It's too restrictive.
Oh, it's eggshells, man. Free speech on college campuses has never been less practiced.
Right.
I applaud, Purdue University. Mitch Daniels has done a really good job of fighting back against that. And George Will wrote an article applauding Mitch for that.
University of Chicago just said there's no safe spaces here. Grow up.
Yeah.
So let's continue to define the alt-right before we get into motivations
Sure.
further. So is it my perception of it is that it is just a bunch of nerds that live in their mom's basement that are making memes and posting them onto 4chan all day. And they go on and they try to outdo each other. So there's a contest to see who can be the most offensive. And somehow that has turned itself into some sort of movement.
Well, I mean, it's not a movement.
Is that it? I mean,
This has been brewing for a while.
yeah.
The origins of this are in Europe.
And like Milo Yiannopoulos wrote a Breitbart article about the origins of, what's the title of that article? A Guide to the Alt-Right Movement?
Yeah,
It's called the top,
conservative, an establishment's conservative's guide to the alt-right movement. But I
Right.
mean, this has been happening for a long time.
But my point is that he tries to argue that there's intellectual underpinnings to this, and there just isn't. Like H.L. Mencken, these guys who are making Trump memes have never heard of H.L. Mencken or Oswald Spengler. They don't know what those guys did
They
for
actually do.
conservatism. I don't believe you. You're wrong.
You got to get on there. I'm telling you, I go on there all the time. That's where I get ideas for that's my meme den.
It's your meme studio.
Well, I mean, they're hilarious. They have great ideas and they're sharp as can be. Just witty as all get out. But yeah, they take on controversial ideas and issues. But that's because they believe in freedom of speech.
Right.
That's because they aren't going to ignore Mein Kampf like Germany did for their history and not allow it and ban it because they think that people aren't strong enough to have the ability to critically think and say, even though we disagree with it and it was a horrible atrocity, we're still not going to pretend it doesn't exist or else it might happen again.
Sure. Okay, I can buy into that argument because that's the problem with the base word of university is, a universal search for truth. Everything flows together. Liberal arts degree, science, it all kind of meshes together. And when you start segmenting out pieces of history that are not allowed to be discussed, then that's the opposite of what a university education is supposed to be about.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point is to be able to accept an argument and choose, understand the logic behind it, and then choose to disagree with it. But
Right.
you have the choice. Because you have that liberal arts education and that training, the ability to critically think, you can understand your opponent's argument to a T.
Yeah.
What makes you different than someone that's ignorant is that you are able to say, well, I understand it, that isn't correct based on these principles, and that is why I reject it and why it isn't right.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't have enough of. It's the two sides don't even understand the arguments anymore.
Well, Ron Sexton, who's a comedian friend of mine, talked about his comedic hero, Tim Wilson, and he talked about how he wrote comedy, and he taught Ron to write comedy by taking your firm beliefs, your firmest held beliefs, and arguing against them.
it. Yeah.
And that is, Tim Wilson was one of the smartest men that ever lived. If you've never heard Tim's comedy, you should look it up. He's great. And I think that's important. And libertarians really should.
We are that. That's everything we believe.
Not necessarily. Not on my Facebook page, we're not. Instead of evaluating what William Weld says, we're just going off of memes from Liberty Hangout and spam headlines.
The thing, I mean,
Instead of truly understanding what he was trying to say and how he was trying to say it, everybody else says this guy's bad, so now I need to get on my Facebook page and share this meme. Shut up.
if you don't sign the
Fucking
petition to
idiot.
have William Weld step down as vice presidential candidate,
Yeah.
then you're Hitler.
Right. So
Everyone I don't like is Hitler.
So there is this anti-intellectualism that even creeps into the libertarian movement.
Well, the thing is, though, their argument isn't being heard either. It's being dismissed.
Right.
They have a legitimate criticism, and it's not a traditional libertarian
who
argument.
does?
The Radical Caucus and the people who make it, they're just making it in a way that isn't good. They're not making it in a way that's a private conversation with William Weld to get him to, they want a private meeting where William Weld says, listen, I believe this, but I'm trying to win votes. I'm a political animal.
Right.
I don't have the luxury of purity when I'm on CNN.
Maybe September, 2 months before the election, is not the best time to have that discussion. It was last May.
Right, and it was, but you can't
Right.
meet with everybody. The
Or
problem is
December.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the nature. That William Weld is, I highly doubt that if he's actually a libertarian and believes it, he believes like that. Like Gary wants to force Anne Frank to make a cake.
Right.
They don't. It's just that is the reality of the beast. They are political actors in a political system that it's winner takes all. It's majority.
But the memes are actually pretty powerful because the bake the cake thing that Austin set up in the has subsisted, and that single-handedly drives. You can agree with Gary Johnson 99% of the time, but somebody says bake the cake, and you go, well, I'm out. Well, I'm not going to vote for the guy that I agree with 99% of the time because we disagree on one issue, and I need to vote for someone who's 100% with me because I am always right. I can say this now, and I can criticize because I have a black and yellow profile picture. But I find I just hate the anti-intellectual lack of critical thinking that is embodied in that kind of.
You don't like the shock and awe behind it?
No. I'm saying I don't like the opinions of others. It just seems to.
That's arguably the most unlibertarian thing you could possibly say.
I'm for thought.
As a libertarian, I
I'm
don't
for
like the
thought
opinions
control.
of others.
I'm for thought control. I'm not for thought control. I'm for speech control.
Mandatory education.
You should listen.
Yeah.
No, I
know what you mean. It's tough.
Yeah, like not everybody is. Social media has allowed everyone to think that their opinion matters.
And it does in a democracy.
Everyone in our audience here and listening, your opinion is valid.
Right. It's the flaw of democracy.
Right. But not everybody's opinion counts.
The collective will isn't going to lead to the best outcome.
Right.
The ideal is, that's why we have a republic. You have representatives who ideally suited are to being the best and the brightest and leading the government in the right policies and knowing what's right that are elected by the masses. That's
right.
That's supposedly the preventor from mob rule. Now we all know in time all systems, trend towards, I guess, the Peter principle, the idiots rise to the highest level. But, that's just the nature of the beast, is that it's not the best system. It's just the safest bet against authoritarianism.
I think what I'm struggling with this election cycle more than anything else is that this is the first truly social election cycle that we've had for president. in 2012 you still had social media, but it's like people are more skilled at it now. They're more entrenched now, and they're more comfortable now, and they're using it to the full advantage of what you can do with these tools. And we all while it is a great thing that everybody has the ability to start a website and a podcast and 4 years ago think that your opinion is worthy of being listened to. I mean, the market has proven that We Are Libertarians has some traction. I mean, there's at least 10 people here that think we're right. The other 5, not as much, but
Josh Featherstone right now is touching his chin, looking like he's pondering whether or not that's right.
So what I'm struggling with is that, I have 10 years of political experience. You have spent a lot of time thinking about these issues. A lot of people that like Abdul, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Abdul is a friend of the show, Abdul Hakim Shabazz, local pundit. Here's a guy who has lived, breathed, and worked in politics for 20 years. And a guy, Uncle Morty, who gets on his face. Let's not say Morty because we're at Morty's comedy joint. I don't want to asperge them. Let's say Uncle Larry gets on his Facebook page, and he's a God-fearing Christian conservative who thinks that Colin Kaepernick should have stood up for the anthem or whatever he didn't do. Like, he thinks his opinion is as valuable as Abdul's opinion, and they're not. Like, Abdul is somebody that should be listened to, even if you don't agree with him. He has access and information that a lot of people don't. But Uncle Larry thinks that his opinion is just as informed and just as right as Abdul's, and it's not. And so there's just a lot of noise in this election cycle that I haven't really experienced in other election cycles. And quite frankly, the alt-right is a lot of noise with a lack of. You're finding intellectual value in it, great, but I don't.
No,
see
I'm not.
I
it's
don't.
not that I think that they're the next thought leaders of the libertarianism and the right. The right. It's that I
frankly don't think that the alt-right has anything to do with libertarianism. Nationalism.
They're voting for Gary Johnson.
Libertarianism and nationalism cannot coexist.
They're voting for Gary Johnson.
Great. So is Mitt Romney, but that doesn't make him a libertarian.
I think you're missing the point, though. They're pushing back just super far against the left.
Trying to push the Overton window.
Yeah, just trying to troll the shit out of them.
To what? Like,
it's obviously working. They're on the front page of Google News.
But to what end? Like, so that I can say faggot whenever I want?
No,
like
we're there.
That's the ultimate.
I don't think they have a goal. I think they're looking.
It's okay if I wear this Klan hood. I'm wearing it ironically. But what's the end goal of such a movement?
You're culturally appropriating my racism, and I don't appreciate it.
Right. Like, I'm just saying, what's the value of the alt-right? It's about their emotions and their feelings, and your feelings. Like, the Republicans and conservatives forever and libertarians have said, liberals and their feelings have no place in politics. But then as soon as they get their own feelings, like, yeah, I like that meme. It makes me feel good because liberals are crying. Like, quit being a hypocritical fuckstick.
Well, I mean, that's
a political term. I'll teach it to you later.
That's such a high bar to set. I mean, if you think about it, like,
what?
Have you ever heard that "don't feed the trolls"?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's pretty much what it boils down to. And now
I don't know.
they're
Morty's gave me tachos earlier.
Yeah.
Now that they've become legitimized in some sort, it's just going to be...
Yeah. Now they're going to start forming groups and movements, and they're going to try and be political power.
These movements have been around forever, though. These movements,
right?
These movements started when the colonial European countries started having mass Muslim immigration.
Right.
I mean, this started as a very white ethnocentric,
right.
It started there.
Keep going.
That's what it is. It's been around.
Right.
That's
white, ethnocentric,
they believe,
national pride.
Right.
You know, where are we heading? Off in the distance of the future, Greg. What's the end result of such a white nationalistic
I don't know
movement?
what you're implying.
Oh, I think you do.
I don't know the fiction you've been reading on the internet, but that's not what I've read. No. What I'm implying is that everything's a result of cultural change.
Right.
This all started as a result of cultural change. The downfall of the empires in the European countries and their colonial power was that it set up systems where there was mass immigration, and what people's lifestyles and what they got used to, the neighbors they got used to seeing, instead of being the working class and the aristocracy in the middle, like the merchant class, all of a sudden there was a whole new segment. All of a sudden, it was, the cultural term, the Browning of France. It
Okay.
was in Germany, taking in Islam and Western civilization were inevitably going to clash because of colonialism. It was going to happen. They were going to come to pursue new opportunities. They were going to bring with them their cultures. They come from war-stricken areas. They were going to bring their families, and they were going to be forced to flee in order to not be killed. And so it's inevitable that when societies are for whatever reason are put, I guess, involuntarily. It was more of an issue.
But it's not involuntarily.
It is for the people that live there.
Like, I'm surrounded by Chin, the largest collection of Burmese outside of Burma.
Right.
Like, they didn't get forced into the apartment complex next to me.
No.
They moved there, and they have their own. It is a multicultural area. And I have no problem with the multiculturalism. I enjoy it. I enjoy getting to.
But a lot of people in your neighborhood who aren't as open-minded and tolerant left.
Good. And the problem is what?
The problem is, in time, they say, no, this is ours. We built this. They came here because they liked our ideas, and we're not going anywhere. They're the ones that are going to have to change. This is ours.
Yeah, like the damn Germans in the late 1800s.
But I'm not saying that's the right thing. I'm saying that's the mindset.
I know, and I'm saying, like, why should libertarians associate with such a group of people?
Why should they?
Well, yeah.
Because the question then becomes,
I'd rather befriend the immigrants.
if the immigrants want to institute political change in the political process through laws, through Sharia courts, through cultural laws, through blue laws like we have here, if they start changing society in that shape, or they don't assimilate and they want to be separate, like with their own Sharia court systems where they can behead their sister because she was going out to the nightclubs, there's going to come a point where the societies are going to clash, and they're going to say, you're wrong, I don't like this anymore, and it's my way or the highway.
But when you are in the bounds of the United States, you're still beholden to their laws no matter what your religious exemption. You can't kill people. Like that's
you can't always kill people, you just get prosecuted.
Yeah, that's a false argument. I mean, you can do it, and people will kill people for any variety. I might kill Christy for those chicken fingers. They look really good. So, what'd you get? Chicken tachos? Me too. I already had tachos, so you're safe tonight. But to me, that's just fear mongering. Like that is in Tammany Hall's era. When,
it's tribalism.
When they get off the boat at Ellis Island, Tammany Hall would say, "Irish, come over here, be our friends," and that's how they built a political machine. Whereas the Anglican, the more Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, waspy people would go, "Oh, these Irish, we can't hire them." And eventually the Irish became white people, right?
And then presidents like the Kennedys.
Yep. Right.
The rum runners.
So
they assimilated, though.
The argument against multiculturalism, every wave of immigrants that comes in here is...
There isn't an argument against it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm saying that if the majority of the people don't want it, that are subjected to it, have the political majority and the power and the guns and the access to the socioeconomic ladder, they're going to say this is the way it is, and if you don't like it, get out.
Well, I mean, Bull Connor sure didn't like those meddling Negroes sitting at lunch counters. So should he have not? He should have. Well, this is just the way that it should be. We should just keep blacks from voting because it makes us feel uncomfortable if they do that.
No, but I'm just saying that's what the actual issue is.
Right, and I'm saying we should say to the alt-right and to these old cracker conservatives and these Trump voters, I'm sorry you're uncomfortable with brown people and white and non-white people, but get over it. Like, your feels don't matter. Like, you're making the argument that I can read off of a Klan page. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you're making that argument. I'm saying that's the argument that most Trump voters have. Well, they came in here
it's
to took our
covert.
jobs.
They don't want to say it out. That's the thing is there's a lot of hidden pride and enjoyment for these people that, it's the Beech Grove Walmart voter.
Right.
And,
greetings. I would like to take this opportunity to tell you a little about the loyal white knights of the Ku Klux Klan. And hopefully dispel some of the lies told about us by the liberal news media. Let me start by addressing the repeated falsehood that we are a hate group. Let me assure you that nothing could be further from the truth. We do not hate any group of people. However, we do hate some of the things that certain groups are doing to our race and our nation. We hate drugs, homosexuality, abortion, and race mixing. I lost my. This is red type on black. It's very hard to read.
That's a horrible website.
Yeah, I can't believe the Klan can't hire a good graphic designer. Because these things go against God laws and they're destroying all white nations, but rather than focus on hate, we try to focus on the love of our race. We try love for our Lord and Savior and country. Our goal is to help restore America to a white Christian nation founded on God's word. This does not mean that we want to see anything bad happen to the darker races. Sorry, Harry. We simply want to live separate from them, as God intended. And then Leviticus is quoted. It is simply a fact that whenever these races try to integrate themselves into white society, the society is damaged immensely, perhaps destroyed altogether. They are not evil, they're not hateful. They're just trying to uphold their standards.
Preservation. Conservationists, if you will.
Right. Doesn't
Cultural conservationists.
Anytime I hear a conservative try to argue immigration, it ends up sounding just like that.
Well, it is like that.
Yeah. Okay, all right. I'm glad I'm not crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to get someone that is supporting Donald Trump to come out and be like, it's his racism, but he does it the way I like it.
Yeah.
That's what it is, but they're not going to say it. It's covert. They're not going to be like, God, I tell you, just feel that racism. It feels kind of good.
Right.
But that's what's going on.
Harry, can you please come sit up here? I'm not kidding. I need you on stage so that way people know we're not racist. Just in case. I will say, I said, I forgot to write down a comp list because I always just say, hey, because people that generally help us out, like Harry, I try to, give them a comp. And I said, I forgot to write down the comp list. The only person that gets in free is the black guy. He'll be the only one. True story.
It's funny, though, because you're not racist. If you were racist, that joke would not be funny.
I don't see Harry's color. I don't see his dark black walnut skin.
Walnut?
Mahogany, I mean. So, Harry, please, I need you to come up here now. It's getting bad. It's starting. You went out tan. That's like skywriting at night. Why did you go tanning?
Well, I didn't go tanning. Lacey and I went to the pool, and I started to read a book, and I realized, wow, I'm tanning. This is what tanning is.
But I bet you have a farmer's tan because you're the whitest black man I know.
No, see, look, it goes all the way up.
It goes all the way up. Did you cut off your sleeves like a true Terry Labonte fan?
No, I have sleeves. I just didn't wear sleeves when I was reading my book at the pool.
All right.
What book are you reading?
Swim.
What book are you reading? W.E.D. Boys?
Actually, no. I'm reading two different books. I'm reading Spontaneous Order, and I'm also reading another one.
Is Spontaneous Order about atheism?
Spontaneous Order it's a book on anarchy.
Yeah. Did you know that atheism is a religion, Harry?
Yeah, pretty much. Some anarchists, some atheists take atheism to like a religious standard. Of course, most statists, most authoritarians take that to a religious standard, and they happen to be atheists. So yeah.
All right, so let's get back to the subject. When you talk to, I just want you all to notice I'm touching Harry, not racist. When you talk to, let's say, Republicans over 50, what's the feeling? What's the vibe that you pick up?
Very warm, very welcoming. I don't get a racist feel from it.
Okay. When you go to the NASCAR races, how are you received?
Very open, very welcome. They want to show me.
We got one.
Selfie.
I do get that. A lot of oh my God, there's a black guy here.
Oh, you know who did that to you at a Young Americans for Liberty event? This asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, Harry's here. I'm going to get a picture from every angle with Harry in it.
Totally did that.
So much diversity here.
First time I met everyone from We Are Libertarians, and I'm in every YL photo. Every one.
I know.
I didn't do that to you, Harry.
Yeah.
I never did.
Thanks, Greg.
I have 2 black friends. I'm going to use them.
And then, the event was pretty cool because I never understood the impact that white people feel when someone throws out the term of racism. You're a racist. I never understood that until I sat in a room full of all white people being not coached but educated on how to deal with being called a racist. Just how to deal with it.
So you had never enjoyed your black privilege until that moment.
No, I have enjoyed my black privilege pretty much, especially when I have to walk around like Hallville or something like that at night.
Right.
You know, like I enjoy that. Most people leave the 6
you're going
foot
to buy
black
your
man
crack.
alone. Just don't buy crack. Crack's expensive. Crack's
When
whack.
you're going to get your 40s, right?
No, I drink scotch.
Yeah, he drinks Glenlivet and he drinks
He's-
Macallan
yeah.
18 year.
He's
But
very
if I do, you know,
he's
and if
very
I'm
sophisticated.
drinking a Bell's Two Hearted right now, but
I'd love. Can I get
So-
one of those, by the way? Yeah.
Make
Thank
that
you.
too.
please.
Thank you. You're the best, please.
So you never realized that like white people take that seriously. Like if you call us racist, it does like it really
No, it doesn't.
agitates.
to some white people, it is fighting words. It's like, how dare you?
Right.
How dare you call me a racist? You know,
Right.
It's it's,
I know Harry Price. I am not racist.
but that's just how some white people are. They
Yeah.
just get very like, and they should be like, because they're being like called something they're not. They're
Right.
being like people are adding on this gigantic baggage of who they think they are on top of them, and it's very hard to try to fight something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that the alt-right reaction, I think that's sort of what you're saying, is it's a reflex that social justice warrior and people on the left use that as a smear campaign
Yeah.
for so long.
The guilt and the apologies are
right,
over.
that now the pendulum swung
Yeah,
back
it's
the
pushing
other way.
back
Yeah,
right.
10 times harder.
Some of that is like I would relate to like some of the like the birth of the alt-right, right? A lot of that came from the huge massive fight of Gamergate. A lot of those soldiers from Gamergate have formed into the alt-right. A lot of them didn't. They thought they were liberals.
Explain what that is.
Gamergate was a gigantic outcry, a fight of ethics in journalism. The gaming community thought they, for a longest time, felt like they weren't getting the right story being told. And there's one time I had to like just kind of they finally like a couple of different catalysts. People pick different ones, but the most catalyst is like when people start coming after them and it's explaining like you're just racist, you're sitting in your mother's basement, shut up and buy the games. And this is coming from their media, and their people are getting like favors for items or sexual favors for better press for the different games, and they finally had enough of it, and they had a fight against their own gaming press to get any type of like just to even show like what they're doing is right, because like even like the regular mainstream media was sitting there trying to paint the Gamergaters as just terrible women-hating misogynists that live in their mother's basements. But these are the men that are buying the $60 games, that are buying these AAA titles, and like they're fueling this billion-dollar industry. Like, how can they do all that and just live in their mother's basements? They must have some cash.
So you're saying that the gaming community, the established gaming community, the people that were in the press of the gaming community,
Yeah.
were calling the people that they were basically like their clients, the people that they're
Yeah.
writing for, misogynistic, racist, all that kind of
And
stuff.
hatred for not liking their type of games that they think that the SJWs thought they should
Right.
like, or having the inclusion that they thought they should have, and just spewing massive lies out and trying to inject things into the community. Like, well, there need to be more women programming. There are tons of women programmers
Sure.
out there. You know, there's tons of women in tech. A lot of them wonder if anyone, like most people are like, well, there's not enough women, and there's tons.
Sure.
Tons of them. They're just not like front stage people. But a lot of them do a lot of the background stuff. And
Right, so
happy
there are
with
like
being
there are
in the
like a lot of literary
Like Stage
critics,
Crew.
a lot of literary critics who say Harry Potter and Twilight are an abomination
Yeah.
because it's not, they should be reading Moby Dick. Well, the market doesn't want to read Moby Dick. The market doesn't want to read Jane Eyre. They want to read Twilight and Harry Potter, and thank goodness they're reading. So it's
Correct,
sort
yeah.
of the same thing. It's like the Ivory Tower people.
But the alt-right
Like,
saw
It's,
like
it's
different...
like the market gives you Justin Bieber, not Mozart.
right.
Yeah.
It's the unfortunate
Mozart
part.
sucks, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so the alt-right developed out of that, so they
Partial. They
well,
joined out
yeah,
of
they
that.
joined.
They
yeah,
joined.
They showed that if these memes have power, getting on Twitter and going after and showing proof and showing that the regressive left how wrong their ideas are.
Yeah, they're
and showing them
tyrannical.
that they are themselves. Like, when you're using archive data, it's like, who got that popular? That was Gamergate. So when the alt-right does it, like, look what they're saying. Look who these people are. That lens was focused. That started with Gamergate.
Okay, so here's an example of tell me if this is what you're talking about.
Okay.
So I'm on Facebook about a week ago, and as I always am, And I'm scrolling through, and I see a local black female Democrat post that her people should vote straight ticket. Or she just wrote vote
Awesome, thank you.
straight ticket. Now, of course, she meant Democrat.
Yeah.
And I just, because me being crazy in a public forum, I thought, well, they want my opinion, so I'll give it. And I just basically...
Pure leader.
Right. And so I gave my opinion, which is that straight ticket voting is stupid voting, and that if you're voting straight ticket, you're uninformed.
And the two-party system is rigged.
Let me tell you
And
something.
in the Fed?
If you go on a
Buy my
Black
water
Democrats Facebook page and you call them uninformed
Oh,
as
boy.
a white man, that didn't go so well for me. Right, Harry?
Welcome
You
to the
didn't
club.
change
Me
your
too.
profile
Me
picture
too.
first?
Right.
Did you yell it from the front porch while you sipped your mint julep?
No, ironically, the leader of the Bash Chris Spangle movement was a white Democrat by the name of Wilson Allen, who I like. I like Wilson. And so he started calling me a racist. You weren't listening. You weren't blah, 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 blah. I said, no, you guys got on there, and she... Eventually, she goes, well, your argument's irrelevant. And I said, why is my argument irrelevant? And she goes, because you're a white man, and
You're
so
a
I
white
just assume
male.
that you think I'm an idiot. And I said, I don't know you to be an idiot. I know Wilson. I know he's an intelligent man. Just because my skin is white, it doesn't mean that I think that black people are unintelligent and dumb. In fact, if you listen to our podcast, if you go read the latest review of our podcast, we are Democrat plants who just are Black Lives Matters social justice warriors.
This
because
pleases me so much.
because we had on Richard Samuels and Daron and talked about
Well,
what
I
it's like
wasn't
in
on those
prison.
episodes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you didn't hear those.
Something
But-
suddenly came up.
So
I'm the Law and Order host.
So because I was white, they didn't see that I am an ally of 70% of what these two people think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not a Democrat, therefore I am Donald Trump. I'm
Yeah.
just a racist white
Wrong
man with a uneducated opinion that doesn't need to be listened to. I need to be thrown out of Democratic helicopters.
I get that too.
Is that the reflex? Because it pissed me off. It was like, listen,
I love you people.
I love all of you people. I have a friend. So we've taken photos together.
Immediately, you tagged Harry in a
Several
reply,
dozen
didn't you?
photos.
Harry,
of
get in here and save me.
Yeah.
Right. So no, but
Not going to
that's.
say the jingle.
Yeah.
did my
Racism
Facebook
insurance.
But it was clear to me that because I am not a Democrat and I'm not on
Their team.
their team, and it's not a black Democrat thing because libertarians are exactly the same way. We're the quickest to purge out people that we think 90%. I can't handle being only 90% with somebody and vote for them, so I'm just not going to vote.
Did
Fucking
anyone
moron.
even like?
But that reflex makes me want to go.
You
well,
just
fine.
described Harry, by the way.
I know Harry can take it.
Yeah.
Harry can handle it. He's a big boy.
Yeah. I'm pretty big. But I get that on Democratic pages too
I
because
set
I'm
you
not
up.
a
I
Democrat.
called him a boy, and you didn't say a
Yeah.
word.
So
We've done enough racism tonight.
All right. Okay.
And you're supposed to be against the alt-right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And it's feeling good, isn't it?
Join
That's a good
But
point.
It's feeling good.
But then
be
you got to
making
see
Pepe
where they are.
I
though.
know.
They've been wanting most libertarians wanted a pure candidate. That's what they wanted.
Sure.
You know, myself. When I get in that booth, I'm going to sit there, pull the lever for Vermin Supreme. I want my freaking free pony. And it's what I want. But
Isn't that a wasted vote, Harry?
no, I'm going to get a pony.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I want my pony. But I get that on Democratic pages. It happens. Because
Right.
you get accused with wrongthink.
Get that
But
on
you have
all
to understand,
pages.
like, those people who don't like Gary Johnson, they're actually just same like that episode I had with Paxton and all them. It said it's having that Thanksgiving dinner with that new family member that got married into the family. You're going to talk bad about that person until you really get to know that person.
Until they prove.
Yeah, prove it.
Sure.
Show us your worth. Show us what you can do. If your tactics work out, cool, awesome. They'll eat humble pie and they'll sit back in the back and they'll probably still make memes, but they just still want to see it. Just like oh great, Jessica brought what's his name over again. keeps saying he does stuff with those.
Guess who's coming to dinner? Am I right?
Yeah, guess who's coming to dinner, basically. Yeah.
So once upon a time, Jeffrey Tucker wrote an article about brutalists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He quit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so basically he left the
Mises Institute.
and went and did his own thing
The
because
Misesians.
The
as you so
Misesians.
rightly told me.
and the brutalists generally in the way that they handle things are like if it bothers you how William Weld and Gary Johnson are being treated, the person that bothers you, that's what Jeffrey Tucker was describing as a brutalist. And so he
The
tried,
alt-right are brutalists.
and so he made the alternate argument that we need to be more kind to each other, that we need to be more less divisive, and we need to be more inclusive.
Yeah.
Which the word inclusive sent them to the moon.
Yeah.
The other side, and so then that's how these brutalist groups got started, and that was the descent of us into meme hell. But
Or heaven.
that
Yeah.
group, you've been redeemed by memes.
I've never felt more at home.
I have been baptized in a group of rare pepes. No, please no share. So do you think that those brutalist groups help contribute to the formation of the alt-right too? Because you guys are in a lot of those Facebook
Absolutely,
groups.
because I've seen a lot of libertarians become libertarian nationalists.
Harry, why are you sighing?
Because I saw that too, and it's just like, how did that happen?
How does that make sense?
Well, are
that
these people
come
for real?
from?
Because anything on the internet
no,
I take
they're not
as
for real. So, like,
I
here's
know,
the thing
but
you guys have to remember: all these people are voting for Gary Johnson.
No,
Everyone we're talking about
no,
is
they're
they
not
are.
all
Yes,
voting
Yes,
for
they
Gary
are.
They are.
I
Yeah,
they
don't
are.
believe
They
you.
are.
You have to
They are
realize
all
you're
voting
talking
for Gary
about
Johnson.
anonymous online trolls who are just going to say the most
That
outrageous
love to watch
shit
the
gets
outrage.
attention.
They love it.
Yeah. They may vote 5 times. 3 of them going to be for Johnson, 2 of them going to be for Trump, just a troll, but they're going to vote 5 times.
They're leveraging racism in order to get a political outcome they want. They're sick to death of SJWs. They're sick to death of being blamed. They didn't own slaves, so why are they supposed to feel guilty about it? Why did they commit original sin when they haven't done anything wrong other than being randomly born white?
Okay,
They didn't
And
choose
male.
to be born. Yeah, white male.
right, cis white male.
Yeah, cis white male.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. But yeah, like that's the point. So like, and all this is they're sick of, they're the ones, they were born with original sin because they had no choice to be born, how they were born, what sex they were born, what color they were born, or where they were born.
All right, so you're saying that these guys that Hillary Clinton came out and tried to tie to Donald Trump due to their racism and their racist memes, which it's all done ironically, but again, I go back to the argument of how ironic, I'm wearing a Klan outfit to be ironic. Like, there is legitimate racism inherent in these memes and bigotry. And you're saying that the reason that is the case is because it's pro-Gary Johnson, that they're pro-Gary Johnson, so they're trying to tie white nationalism to
That's what I was trying
Trump.
to explain to you about Hans Hermann Hoppe. That's why he's the philosophical foundation of this movement, is that he doesn't believe that there can be coexistence between people that are collectivists and people that are individualists in any harmonious society unless there is a way to protect and keep them out from infiltration. It's why he says physically removed. Democrats and communists should be physically removed, so to speak.
But why, like Milo Yiannopoulos, the guy that they all
Milo.
revere, whatever.
He's a tool.
Right, but he's
They hate
voting
him,
for
though.
Trump.
No, but he's a puppet for them.
He's
so
he's
Can't vote
taking
anyways.
advantage.
he's their
Yeah.
he's their homosexual, born of a Jewish family, fundamental Christian, Republican. Guy willing to go out and say whatever, and so he is a messenger for them to go out and spark outrage in order to get people to say, you know what? Well, if there is only a human race, how can anyone be racist?
But here's why I don't necessarily.
There are cultural differences, but there
Right.
aren't racial differences.
Right.
So, I was reading a book called The King Years, and it's like a summation of these 3 books by Taylor Branch on the civil rights movement. And in Parting the Waters, they talk about the freedom rides, and so they're taking these 7-hour bus trips, and there was one trip planned from Birmingham, I think, to Jackson, Mississippi. 7-hour ride. And the Kennedy administration worked out with the local officials, the Alabama governor, and all the civil rights groups that there would be one bus trip. And everybody was fine with that. All right? No stops, not stopping for the bathroom. We're going to take this one trip and you will make your statement, but we're going to make it as safe as possible. Now, the kids, who were the legitimate college students, were like, no, we want to get roughed up because that's the greater statement. We want you to act as if nothing is happening. So because they were disappointed, they organized a second freedom ride, which violated the terms of the truce amongst all the different groups, from the Kennedy administration to the local governments to the state governments to the civil rights groups. And so all the left, all the liberals, all the progressives, all the conservatives and church groups, all the natural allies, everybody abandoned them because it was a provocation.
Mm-hmm.
And Martin Luther King and several others came out and said, listen, we're not, the Kennedy administration basically said, we're not going to encourage provocation because if you are a nonviolent movement inviting violence, then that is an heretical, the New York Times called it a logical fallacy at the time. So I don't see the value in using provocation to try and foster political discussion.
Well, they're not going to be
all these guys are doing is they're
shit posting memes on the internet.
But they're using divisive tact. But they're using divisive tact. But see, you're writing it off. They're using divisive tactics, and divisiveness doesn't do anything but divide. So what's the value of this? Any of it?
There isn't any. That's the whole point.
Well, there is, because ultimately the movement it's going to be something, right? So Republicans getting their butts kicked, right?
Yeah,
a Ted Cruz conservative can't win, right? So that brand of conservatism's dead. A northeastern moderate, never going to win, like a John McCain, Mitt Romney type. And so that's why a guy who isn't really Republican or conservative has been able to come in and dominate the race sheerly out of shock and awe and, being different and being a quote-unquote straight shooter, or perceived to be. And so ultimately it's about the rebirth of a party and a movement, I guess, in America. But libertarianism is really that movement. Libertarianism is the natural, rightful heir to the death of conservatism. It will replace what was standing in the way because it's really the last man standing and it's the only one with momentum.
And it most naturally fits with the upcoming generations.
Right, right. And so, so the long-term fight that we're going to face is the Bernie Sanders democratic socialism and libertarianism, Gary Johnson style. But that doesn't mean this fight isn't going to get ugly. And so when you go into a fight, it's a war. You have to have people willing to be that go to the wall first. And the nice thing about having the alt-right is they'll do what we don't want. What we think is counterproductive, is divisive, will actually be harmful when you're trying to broker negotiations and coexistent outcomes and make meaningful political change in a society. That doesn't mean you don't need the threat of the rabid dog standing over there ready to, come marching down in headdresses at Elizabeth Warren's next fundraiser. I mean, it's like Martin Luther King had the rabid dogs. Everyone has the rabid dogs. Every movement has the people that are inside, in the cause, that are the civil disobedient, leaders of change. They don't provoke. They are, they're always kind.
But yeah, Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam had foundations, ideologies, firmly held beliefs. It's not nihilistic. It's not, it's just we're going to have a good laugh at this.
Right. But the alt-right isn't nihilistic.
He just said there's literally no point to it.
There isn't. The whole foundations of it is that there was a time. It wasn't because we were white that the institutions and the cultural norms and the way we structured society. It wasn't because we were white that it functioned better and people were more free. It was because that's the way that societies are structured that are the most free. And so doing that, it gets labeled racist because it's a bunch of white people saying this is what we need to go back to when the times were good.
Well, legitimately saying some. I mean, they're
just because white people came up with it doesn't mean it's racist.
Correct. Yeah, a bunch of Scottish people came up with it, and they just
Some
and
of
it
the memes
started
I
to
see are
spread
racist.
out. But no, but the thing is, it just started to spread out from this one area.
Right.
It's just how it is. Just like the Roman Empire just spread it out from this one area. It's how it is.
An ideology and an idea takes shape because it's either superior or that you can dominate and conquer.
Yeah, just like
superior.
the internet, just like cars, everything just starts with one person coming out. Not inherently racist, where whoever started it, that's where it started. That's where the spark started. But just like Greg was saying, they're prepping for a war, and a war that is happening. And the war is also they're probably
War's imminent.
Yeah, war's also happening on the left as well. They're having a huge, massive problem. They just sat there and labeled a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters, the Bernie Bros, as these misogynists, and they thought they were liberals, and they thought they were fighting on the same cause as everyone else on the left, and they just discovered that these people are their enemy.
Bernie was anti-corruption, not on a team.
Right.
His supporters were, legitimate. They believed in legitimate, hope and change, and rooting out of corruption. The Democratic Party has an agenda, and you're a team member or you're not. Mm-hmm. And so that's a coming war. But the end game is libertarianism versus democratic socialism.
Right.
And it's not here yet, and it's going to take time because we'll be in our 40s and 50s when a war eventually arrives. But that's the question that will shape the future of America for the next 200 years is, are we democratic socialists like Europe, or are we people that believe in negative liberty, the rights in the Bill of Rights, what the government can't do to you, and the idea of, Americans are the people who fled Europe to go forge their own path, and they didn't need the government guarantee or the safety net because there's like an adventurous spirit in our blood.
Sure.
And so that will be when we're in our 50s probably what it comes down to. And that the alt-right is a necessary weapon of that war, because the people that are going to be leading that conversation can't dare be in the same room as the people that are doing this on the internet right now.
Right.
But it doesn't mean they don't need to have someone that strikes fear in the heart of the left.
Mm-hmm. Calling them on their crap.
Yep.
Showing them when they are wrong. When they trap themselves like, well, we didn't say that. We didn't do that. Yes, you did. Here it is. Here's the proof. Here, I'm going to make fun. I'm going to make so much fun of you that I'm going to get 1,000 shares and let 1,000 different people see that, I just made fun of you.
Have you seen 8 Mile?
8 Mile?
This is funny. This is why it's
You
relevant.
mean the Chris Spangle story?
Yes. Yeah. So in 8 Mile, the final rap battle in the shelter, he's going against Papa Doc.
Right.
In it, he goes up there, and what does he do instead of making fun of Papa Doc? He just makes fun of himself. I am white trash. My best friend's name is Cheddar Bob. It just makes fun of himself completely. And that way, Papa Doc has nothing to do. That's what the alt-right is.
Right.
They're just saying, yes, I'm a racist, bigoted, homophobe. I just came here in a headdress, and I'll probably go suck 3 guys off in the alley. What would you like to say next?
Right.
And so when they don't fear you anymore, it takes away their power to use the collective, what society thinks about you. Mm-hmm. Because now there's nothing. They don't care what you think anyway. And they might just come back and throw it at you. And so now what do?
Right.
Scream racist louder?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Let's talk policy. Let's talk history, Like
we got past that part.
Right. Like most socialists don't want to talk about Venezuela eating the zoo animals,
Now, it's not going to necessarily be an effective political tactic this election. May never be. And that's why it's smart by Hillary.
It's not it's not an effective political tactic, because we don't live in a society anymore where we used to get criticisms of your podcast, there's just not enough, we need more podcasts out of you guys. Now it's they're 3 hours long. So there's some sort of weird shift that has happened over the last 4 years where people's attention spans
that's the whole meme generation.
have
Everybody
got
gets
even
their
I
news
can't even
from
finish a point without
headlines
him
and memes.
I need
I
a We Are Libertarians Vine page, so it's just like quick,
Right.
a few
3
seconds.
seconds.
Right.
Podcast executive summaries.
Yeah.
The black guy would want a Vine, though.
We're surely going to get to in like the next 10 years.
No, it's going all to emojis.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I
it's
swear
just
to God.
emojis. They're
Sorry.
just going to stand
It
up here
is.
and write emojis.
my
on
brain went
whiteboards.
to the
That's it.
SpongeBob caveman meme when he did that.
Right. There can't be intellectual discussion, because even if you raise the idea of intellectual discussion, it's we managed to do it.
Well, you
here.
can't the mainstream media helped with that. Though.
You
Well,
can't
you think about it,
suspend-
they dumbed down the debates.
Yeah,
Even the
that's-
debates between candidates.
Who say that
The
again?
mainstream media have done
Yeah.
that to like all political discussions.
Yeah.
Ross Perot, he got popular and went after them because here, I'll bring a chart up here. Let me bring some facts. Let me bring some figures. Oh, we can't have that. Charts are against the rules now.
You and your numbers,
Right.
Ross.
You can't have numbers and can you imagine that in this day era? Like
gotta
here,
talk
this
feels.
debate is interactive.
Right.
Here, click. This is my sources I'm citing. Click here to learn more.
Yeah, patriotforum.org.
Exactly.
Don't even get me started on. See, like
Libertarians are the worst about that.
I can understand the alt-right a little bit more in the way that you've put it. I understand that.
And
Do I have to still? Can I still hate white Christian conservative baby boomers? Am I allowed to do that?
You can hate whoever the hell you want. I don't care.
I mean, you can always hate your parents.
Right. Well, that's a whole nother topic. That's why I've been in therapy for a year.
No, I mean, I guess it's what's the point of the alt-right? It doesn't know yet. It doesn't know yet because there's no movement for it to be attached to. I mean, libertarianism's rising. It's growing. It's by no means to me, it's the logical heir and replacement for the death of conservatism because it is no longer capable of solving society's problems.
I'd prefer the libertarianism not get attached to alt-right.
I don't think
at
they
all.
will.
You don't have a choice because they're libertarian.
Right.
But you can't. All right. When he said nationalism, you sighed. Why was that? Because can you be a libertarian and a nationalist at the same time?
Of course.
Yeah,
I don't agree.
The
But
thing is,
let's go to our ANCAP correspondent.
I don't know if being labeled as an ANCAP.
He's
but,
a capitalist
So
shill for the
ANCAP,
Rothschilds.
you can't be labeled as an ANCAP. I fucking hate you people. I meant the ANCAPs, not the.
Make sure you clear that up.
But I sided because it's like
Black and yellow was not a right.
to me, like that's
Wiz
like the
Khalifa?
opposite journey most people you should make in your journey of libertarianism, or when you actually like delve into a lot of the knowledge base, a lot of the books that are there. Like, how the heck did you end up at being a nationalist? You know, to me, I went down that road and went straight anarchist. That's where I went. I was like, wow, the idea is to get rid of government. To me, that's the goal.
It is the goal, but not for everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's the assumption is everyone arrives at the same endpoint and the same logical
Which
conclusion.
yeah, I almost side. I was like, I'm almost disappointed that you ended at that point. Like, it's fine that you ended up there. That's your journey. You made it. You took the journey that you wanted to take.
It's
and
like
that's where
the
you ended
logical
up.
difference between, say, like Trotsky and Marx versus Kim Jong-un is that communism was inevitable. It was inevitable that society would be overthrown, the state would wither away, and we'd all work in a society where from each according to their ability to each according to their need, and man would harmoniously get along.
Sure.
The reality was the only time it actually ends up working is when you're a nuclear rogue nation that holds people hostage and puts people in labor camps and has to force it upon everybody
Is that working?
with a secure border.
It only works because of the special economic zone that China
Yes.
has, and that's the only reason that's keeping that whole train alive.
That's the thing. And so like that's the difference is that, you know, to assume that libertarianism is no borders or that means no borders. Sure, that's great. I agree. I would love it if everyone logically reached the idea that they are a voluntarist and believed in voluntary interaction with every person they met, everyone they tried to buy from, every element of their life. Human existence tells me that's not going to happen because there are always competing ideas.
Yeah, we almost need a border to keep them out. To keep the collective out.
That's the point, like of Hans Hermann Hoppe.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. It's like what China's special economic zones. Their border exists to keep the Communist Party out.
Yep.
But see, nationalism is that
You're better. Superior.
you're better. Your nation is superior
Tribalism.
because you live in these imaginary boundaries.
Right.
And that nationalistic pride immediately turns you into it removes your individuality. I think the Colin Kaepernick, the 49ers football player, said, I'm not going to honor the national anthem because there's black bodies in the streets. I don't think that my nation and that flag and that national anthem represents me.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to honor it. And instead of people on the right going, yeah, freedom. He should be able to do whatever he thinks is right. It's his conscience. He should exercise that freely.
That's what makes
And
a country great.
That does not reflect me whatsoever. Instead, you're getting from the right, our supposed allies, oh, he just hates this nation. He needs to love this imaginary border and this piece of fabric. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, he should have the freedom. And
Right,
if
that's
you're-
what
and
should
if
be
you're
celebrated as great.
And if
Right,
you're
yeah.
consistent in your ideology, he should be allowed to say, that flag doesn't represent me. In fact, the whole idea is stupid, and therefore I'm not going to participate in this idolatry.
Well, his interpretation of the idea is similar to yours.
Right.
Nationalism isn't anything other than just another ideology, right? So it's just an ism. And it can mean that you believe America is in American exceptionalism because it is a constitutional republic with guaranteed protections from government rather
Right.
than like common law in Europe or France or like France and Great Britain where there is no constitutionally backed protection. So it is just years of laws, and like there's nothing explicitly granted to you that the government can't do
freedom.
to you.
But I don't think that libertarians who believe in individual rights and individualism should argue for a system that inherently will eventually use jingoism to force people to pay for wars, to pay for superiority,
Neither do
to
I.
pay for anti-libertarian ideals.
Right, but and that's the thing. It's state worship, right? So it's like a religion.
Right.
But there's nothing inherently bad about nationalism. It's just what people project onto it.
Sure.
So, like, if you say, I love America because, the Muslims hate our freedom and we need to deport the Mexicans and build the wall and yada, 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 that's nationalism. You're using nationalism just simply because they're projecting those ideals onto it. You can project the same ideals of libertarianism onto a country. You can say that we are a libertarian republic because that's it's a minarchy on a grand scale, and those are the ideals we subscribe to.
Right.
And so it's neither right nor wrong. It's just an element of the system we have. And so, I think we need to get better at using these things. That's part of the reason I celebrate it a little bit, is we stand there and say, but it's about peaceful, it's like the coexist sticker. Like, nobody likes the coexist sticker. It makes you look like a pretentious snob, and you probably don't go in neighborhoods where they're going to rob you.
I got a coexist operating system sticker.
But yeah.
Let the operating system
Linux, meaning Windows, Linux,
Linux,
Mac.
Mac.
But like that's the thing, is like these
OpenBSD,
everyone
Arch.
is for free borders and open trade until it's in your neighborhood and they look a little bit different.
Right.
But libertarians can do a lot better job of using you don't have to just bashing nationalism isn't going to get you anywhere. Americans love America. The ugly American isn't a bad thing in America, and it never will be.
Have you ever had a neighbor in your apartment complex to cook kimchi or curry?
Not in my luxury apartment, Harry. No.
With all his chin.
That's why we keep the rent high. Okay? It's no speed bumps and to keep the ethnic out.
I do love the no speed bump thing. That is
Isn't that
awesome.
nice?
That is nice.
Yeah, I
love
almost
that.
hit like 4 kids a morning.
Yeah.
I still feel like you hate the alt-right
I do.
because you don't know what the purpose is yet.
No, I get the purpose. I just think it's ridiculous.
It's blowback.
I think that any time that you are putting out into the world something inauthentic and that is just noise, like I think it's funny. I think a lot of what you guys post in chat from those groups, it's humorous. Mm-hmm. So if your goal is political satire, then they've nailed it.
That's what they're doing.
That's what it is.
So,
political satire.
if your goal is political change, then not as much.
But first you make fun of it, and then it becomes taboo, or like, oh God, who would believe that? And
Right.
then
or
change
normalize,
comes.
I don't-
normalize, because like the baby boomers would think what you're doing up here and what we're doing up here is look at that alt-right libertarianness. That's all that is.
Right.
Unmatured, and it's like raw state. That's all it is. Now, the libertarians, we can mock it, we can leave it alone, or we can join it. Well, not really join it, just touch it, poke it. Let them understand that, because a lot of them are like are
voting for Gary Johnson.
Are voting for Gary Johnson, or liberal, or people who thought they were liberals couldn't stand voting for a Republican, and then just like, well, this feels right. This kind of goes against who I hate. Why don't you go and just talk to them?
And if you look at it from the 10,000-foot view, you say, like, ideally, libertarianism just works, everyone adopts it, and we can just get rid of borders, and we'll all peacefully, live in harmony. But then the other reality is, oh, God, what if that isn't the case? What if we do have to have borders as almost a test lab to see if it actually, people can exist, and you have to try it out first, and get used to it? The reality is you're going to have borders before a mass of people can take over a political system that's democratic and overthrow it. It needs time to be cultivated and given time to adjust and adapt and change and grow, like the Free State Project, because if it doesn't, then you'll never have anything take off, and we're just sitting around waiting for everyone to have a sudden epiphany that, oh, I'm a libertarian.
Yeah.
And the reality is, when you have entrenched interests like Social Security, a welfare system, the thought that you're just going to have you're going to be willing to just say, you know what, I'm going to give up my retirement and my health care in my elderly years because I'm that principled.
right.
That seems like a very long way off.
Yeah, I guess if I can't, a person who works in comedy, can't clearly identify that it is irony and political satire immediately. Like when Andy Borowitz posts something or The Onion posts something, that's good satire and irony. that is using humor, like the one that I posted on Facebook today, where your Aunt Deborah, lovingly posts about war crimes on her Facebook. Like that makes you go, oh wow, yeah, that's true. My aunt's, my aunt wants to she just speaks with that. Like this, it's just not necessarily good then, because it comes across as this is what they believe, which is racism, bigotry, nationalism, division. Like, I'm not going to even wink at any of that because I don't believe in any of that.
Yeah.
So what is the point of saying we should embrace these guys when, if it is political satire, it's done poorly because it isn't executed in a way that people,
The difference
there's a
is-
reason that
well-
that you guys share the memes in a private chat and not on your Facebook pages. But you're different.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
But the
It's-
thing is, like, how do you think the people in the American Revolution thought about like the people at the Boston Tea Party?
Yeah.
Those rabble-rousers. People who
Sam
got drunk-
Adams, not
yeah.
John.
Yeah, the people who got freaking drunk at a bar, like, hey, you know what? This is what we're gonna freaking do. We're gonna get drunk. We're gonna find the first tax collector we find, and we're gonna just tar feather the crap out of him.
Right.
Or like, hey man, I got this great idea. We're gonna get drunk. We're gonna put these like freaking costumes on, right? We're gonna throw some freaking tea in like right in the harbor at the world's biggest tea party. Watch this. It's gonna be hilarious.
Which there is something to be said for, the guys in the tavern getting drunk, tar and feathering a tax collector, ruin it for the John Adams, the Sam Adams, the people who are
Not really, because they ended up winning.
incredibly brilliant and thoughtful.
But they ended up winning, and they were the ones that remembered anyway.
Right.
So there's necessary evil. Like, they're not going to affect us. I mean, I wouldn't get real close to them and be like, hey, we need the alt-right caucus in the Libertarian Party with a swastika. That
Right.
wouldn't be ideal.
Ironically, it's okay. They
Yeah.
can have it.
But I mean, I wouldn't go that route, but I also wouldn't, it's something new and different that's going on, and it's better to understand it than it is to just be like, oh, what a bunch of idiot white supremacists, when they're also going around saying, yeah, but we're going to vote for Johnson. We just might want to throw some Mexicans over a wall we didn't pay for.
I do think that a large, at least a third, would you say a third of Trump voters over the age of 50 are white supremacists?
It's the
Would you say
covert.
50? No.
It's the.
75% of his voters over the age of...
I think it's a lot of people still feel like.
Let's just say under 52.
I think if you're on the right, you feel like this is what America
No.
is. This is what America was founded upon. This is what we do. This is how we do it, and this is what is right.
Personally, I think
That's right,
those
I'm
white
pure
supremacists
leader.
are voting for Hillary.
And so like
I'm
I think
pure
that,
leader. I'm going to speak the truth, and you'll all have to just acclimate
No,
to
they're
it.
voting for Hillary because they want to see the degradation and destruction of the black race. The best way to do that is, hey, let's pop them full of EBT cards and welfare so they don't do freaking nothing. Put them in underfunded, crappy schools so they don't graduate and do anything with their education. Ha 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 ha. Was the best way. And then
That's
we
a
can
good impression.
And then
I
we can
felt like I
control
was
where
in
the
Alabama
heck they
at
are
that.
because of Section 8 housing. It's like, hey, we can force them to be in this one crappy area right here. And those white people we don't like, the Irish, we can force that too. We can put them here in this trailer park, right the freak here. Who does that? The freaking Democrats do that, not the freaking Republicans.
I think the Republicans do too. Like it's. I don't. See
Well, it's
much
two
of a
ways to the
difference.
same end.
Right.
One,
Which
you
is
create
bigger
you
government.
foster dependency. The other one, you give them no equality of opportunity to get out.
Yeah. We should probably start wrapping up.
Yeah.
I didn't see Bowers anywhere. I was going to have him. I don't know if he wants to be associated with the show, but
He was here.
he's
dipped
around here
out.
somewhere.
Yeah,
but
he,
yeah, if we
his
see him
head
walk
down.
back in, I'll call him up. But Harry, thanks for joining us. You're basically on the show, so you know the deal. If you want to wrap up, if there's anything that you'd like to share with the audience.
Not really. I'm working on a few different projects and stuff like that. Nothing really ready to show out though, because I'm running low on parts. So if anyone's got an old Linksys crappy router laying around that they don't really need that works, find me on Twitter at God's Foot or on Facebook at Harry Price. Find me on Facebook. I need some old crappy Linksys router for a
A
project.
Linksys router.
The old Linksys, the old blue
Dude
one.
comes on a national talk show and asks for routers.
Yeah, if you can give me, that's what
Sounds like a handout.
Loey's looking for the
if you
free
want to
routers.
donate to this awesome project, can't tell you what I'm doing.
Would you like to enlighten us on this? Would you like to share details? Maybe the approximate location of said project.
I kind of to let some of Ernest Hancock kind of let some of the cat out of the bag when I was on his show, but it's more of just an idea to I want to put out a bunch of different small routers around the city to see if I can how hard it is to how many stuff I need to track a MAC address around the city of using a Wi-Fi signal. That's kind of what I want to do.
All right, so Tyler.
I am not going to try
Thanks,
to locate you via your MAC address as you travel the city.
Every time
that's
I
basically like God's eye in Dark Knight. But
Every
with a
time we
router.
have Harry on, I get more and more creeped out. Not by Harry, but just the power that people like Harry have.
Yeah, like, he always goes 5 steps too far.
Yeah.
Telling you what he's going to actually do.
I know. I feel like I don't know how many nude photos of me you have, Harry.
Oh, you know he hacks your
Easily.
your cam.
I know. Have you?
Yeah.
No
probably
comment.
sent 'em to
Okay,
her.
great. You sent them to Christy. I
Yeah.
wonder why she was busy in April.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, Tyler. Final thoughts.
Wow. We went over quite a bit, but
There's a lot here.
I know. I think we touched quite a few bases. Thanks for having me on.
Sure. Thanks for participating.
Well, thanks for having me, and hopefully I don't get an FBI probe, knocking on my door tonight after the beginning of this.
You'll get a probe, but I don't know if by the
I know.
FBI.
I might like
Christy's
that.
in town. She's got a car full of guys. She doesn't need you, she said. To beat it.
Hey, all right.
harem.
She's got her own harem.
Oh, wow.
So, and relatively handsome for the Libertarians. So you guys are a nice-looking group of people.
I can't see it.
One might say articulate and clean.
Yes. Greg?
Tyler wasn't done.
Oh, I don't know. What do you want me to say? If
Whatever
try to
you
find me on
want.
Facebook, you can't because I got drunk and changed my name.
Tad Western.
Yeah. Anyway.
Dankest memes in town.
Spiciest.
Occasionally. I've been slacking.
You really
honestly.
have. You've been quite a
I've been
disappointment.
kind of laying low.
I know. But you finally went out with us this past.
I did. I
what day
celebrated
did
Jeff's
we go out?
birthday.
Friday.
Friday
For
night.
Vivert's birthday.
You did a little dancing.
I did a little shimmy.
I missed the white man overhang, which goes something like this.
Well, they weren't playing a lot of hip hop out there at the Rathkeller.
Yeah, with Polka Boy.
Yeah, I know.
Caitlin,
Neil Diamond.
our good friend Caitlin Kopetsky came out and she was like, they started playing polka and she goes, "What is this shit?" I said, "I invited you to Polka Boy, not Beyonce Boy." So she was disappointed that they didn't have hip hop, and they played whitest music you can imagine.
Neil
Greg?
Diamond.
Yeah, Neil
It was a
Diamond.
good time. Man.
Let's see. Did anything big happen today? Oh no. I guess that Willy Wonka died.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. He'll be missed.
Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like we should have peppered some Blazing Saddles quotes in here.
Oh, well, no. Did we really have to?
No, we.
My God.
I do feel like you are day by day becoming more of a Black Lives Matters Bernitarian.
Probably.
You really have gotten to the point where you hate everything on the right, even if it looks like it's on the right.
It's because people on the right celebrate divisiveness for some reason. I'm not saying that people on the left don't, because the people on the left, their policies and the words that they say are about inclusiveness. Their policies create dependence and divisiveness, which I'll explain in my ending. People on the right,
cultural destruction.
People on the right seem to have picked up this mantle of segregation in society that I don't get. That to me doesn't. If you are a person that loves liberty and freedom, and you are a Christian, it is impossible for you to celebrate segregation and divisiveness, because it's the exact opposite of love. If you...
But I don't think anybody's calling for, separate water fountains.
Not yet. I mean, but we're heading... I mean, you can't look at the rhetoric that comes from Donald Trump, and not even Donald Trump, but the people who imitate Donald Trump poorly, the people that are his supporters, the people that are in these chat rooms, they have the same language as that Klan website. And that, to me, is
Actually
the
worse.
exact opposite of what liberty and freedom and love are all about. And so I don't see any value in liking or affirming anything that those groups have to say, because it morally is objective. I object to it.
I guess my silo isn't full of the really, the ignorant Beach Grove Walmart voter. I
Yeah,
try to filter those out. And
Left over
unfollow.
from I should get off Facebook because I'm like unfollowing
Yeah.
10 people a day.
Yeah, and so I guess I don't see that side as much. Like I see the satirical humor and like with the libertarian nationalists and whatever. And I think I find it funny. I find it funny because I don't believe in sacred cows, and neither do they.
I'm with you. I'm iconoclastic like that. I think it is funny. Like HHH removal services.
Like
Facebook
throwing
page,
Bittner out of a helicopter.
hilarious.
So
Do we want to
funny.
throw Bittner out of a helicopter?
Yes.
But we're not, not publicly we're going to say that. I mean, privately, we dream about it. We strategize about it.
Yeah. Depends on the day.
But you see, like, as in terms of what, there's the joking part of the show, and then there's the intellectual part of the show. And the joking part will throw Bittner out of helicopters. Excuse me. The
Not
intellectual
joking.
part of the show will not. I will not allow myself to associate with people who are the Beach Grove Walmart Trump supporter, people who are actually racist. I grew up around those people. Like I grew up. I won't get into details, but I grew up around those people, and I just
close?
find it distasteful.
Proximity.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess
hung on
it's
Hall
though
Miller's
that, like
Hill.
if you're looking for non-racists, it's going to be hard.
Sure. Everybody's a little racist sometimes.
Well, everyone's sure that their
I
group's
look at
way
it
is
as
right.
if they're not joking, then they're seriously messed up.
Right.
But even though they're seriously messed up, I support their right to have that opinion, even though they're batshit crazy.
like
and
the
wrong.
Klan guy that sat down and wrote that.
Oh yeah,
He's serious.
yeah, but he used red ink on a black background.
Right.
He's basically trying to
Yeah.
keep it a secret.
Right.
He feels so guilty he chose the worst colors.
Yeah, he's running DSL in a mobile home.
I really should give you guys that website. It's hilarious.
No, it seriously was. It was.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you're going to find racism, and you're seeing a rise. I guess you could say of racism, but what you're seeing is cultural elitism.
I don't think it's a rise. I think it's just a vocal minority is what it is.
I think the racists are more comfortable saying it on their Facebook page now that they have a champion.
Well, yeah, and you're talking about
They feel
anonymous
good.
websites
There's,
as too.
there's coverage now.
Right.
Someone hit back and it felt good, and they looked around and were like, "Oh God, wait a second."
The right, the Tea Party crowd is sort of who I'm talking about. The Tea Party crowd,
See, I don't get on Facebook. I have no idea what
you go to these Tea Party rallies and you hear what they say, and you go, "Wow, these people actually believe that." It's just racism. I mean, it's.
Like what specifically though?
I think the argument for illegal immigration is not grounded in economics for most of the Tea Party crowd. It is about multiculturalism,
Cultural invasion.
or in cultural invasion. It has to do with brown people and in
Language.
yeah, like to me, I have no problem with multiculturalism because it eventually becomes part of a culture. And if you're finished, then I will tell my story, which leads into this. But
No, I'm curious. I'm just curious because I can't. I don't understand it. I guess because I'm just still blind to it coming from the right. But like with the cultural assimilation, it's not that I'm for it. I want everyone to assimilate. I don't
Right. want
borders. The problem is the reality of blowback, and that's what we're seeing in Germany and Europe right now.
sure.
And so, that's my concern always is that sometimes your principles can get you in the damnedest situations possible where you get the alt-right and you get Donald Trump and you get white people saying these brownies are wrong.
But the problem is in France with multiculturalism, to uphold the freedom of expression of the French people, they ban burkinis. Like,
Yeah.
how stupid is that? Like, so we can wear whatever we want. We're going to ban your right to wear whatever you want. That makes no sense. That's illogical.
Yeah, you become what you fear.
Right.
Yeah, but that's if they actually have the right to wear whatever they
Right.
want.
So I mentioned I really love Marsh chicken salad. Have you guys had that? It's really good. It's like
Marsh?
the best. Marsh chicken salad. Don't get the fancy stuff. Get the plain white stuff that's $7.99.
Not the premium.
Not the premium. You don't want to mess with a roasted chicken salad. It's not as good. Although, if like me, towards the end of last week, you get the day old chicken salad, it's going to be a rough night. I'm off chicken salad for a while as a result. But the closest Marsh to me is down the street, and it's in the heart of this Chin group. And the Chin come here from Burma because they're persecuted religiously. So the Chin, they're Christian people who are being violently killed and attacked by the Buddhists. I'll let that sink in. And
If that's not an argument against voluntary and spontaneous order, then I don't know what there is.
They can't get
So-
over
The Buddhists were slaughtering them.
Right. So the Chin
must
come
be bad.
here and they walk off the plane with the clothes on their back. They literally have nothing. So they're living in, and I'm not like, this is literally the environment in which they grow up and they live. They live in very tribal groups and crowded cities, very low quality of life. And then they come to America. And so you're living in a house with probably no plumbing, probably no electricity, and you come to an apartment on the south side of Indianapolis, and all of a sudden you're getting coupons from Bed Bath & Beyond. Oh, look, maybe they give us a free pillow? I don't know how this works. How does the Fresh Idea card work? How does, and so you're thrown into a society with very little help, and it's very confusing. And so over the last 9 years that I've lived on the south side and I visit that marsh, 95% of the time that I go to that marsh, it is Chin people because there's such a huge population there. And actually, Fort Wayne is the third largest population of Chin. Wonderful people. If you talk with them, they are the most polite, nicest people you can possibly think of. And so I'm standing in line getting my chicken salad this past week. And it's like the fourth time that week because I ate a lot of chicken salad. And what? And
Is this Tuesday?
yes, I'm going through a pound of chicken salad a day. You do the math. And I'm standing there and I'm just watching, the immigrants. And I'm guessing they're immigrants because none of them speak English. And they are using.
Don't you wish you had an
cards.
ID card you could check?
Yeah. If I had some the papers, please. They're using their EBT cards because they're all on benefits. That didn't make me mad. What started off the anger was what they were buying. Because to me, like, if you're living in a place like Burma, you're probably eating a lot of fruit, vegetables, a little bit of meat. You're eating, like, great food, and then you come here, and now you're getting tasty cakes and ice cream treats and white bread and it's like, don't eat like Americans, please.
It's called assimilation. You got
assimilation,
you gotta get
yes, assimilation because we're all getting huge, and they're paying for the EBT cards, and the only interaction that I ever see these folks have are with the awkward 19-year-old cashier who can't be bothered to look them in the eye because they want to look at their phone. And then they go from their community that they've gathered here to the marsh and then right back. 100 years ago, the way the private charity worked is that a family of immigrants that moved here would have the international. So I was talking to my grandma last night. She grew up in the Depression, and I asked her about the Columbia Club. She's 88. She said, "Oh, yeah, your grandpa used to go to the Columbia Club all the time," which is a major meeting spot on the Circle of Indianapolis here. I said, "Well, what did he go to?" "Oh, the Saratoga Club, the International Order of Odd Fellows," and she listed off like 7 or 8 different charitable groups that my grandpa was a part of, most of which don't exist anymore. Saratoga Club was to help children and people that needed eye donations. Mm-hmm. This is the 1950s and 60s. And those groups, those private charitable groups like the Shriners, International Order of Odd Fellows, the
Masons,
Optimus,
Kiwanis,
to church organizations, charitable organizations, they would take care of immigrants and the poor. And the benefit to the immigrants and to people like my grandfather was immense because that's how you got a breakdown of multiculturalism.
Absolutely.
You had people in need coming to established Americans saying, "I'm a new American, I don't quite understand your culture, how do I navigate this? Let's connect on a human level." Meanwhile, my grandfather got to know a lot of people who were his age, and he got to bond with other established Americans plus the new Americans. And you had this system of private charity that took care of people, and it was built on human connection and human empathy and filling human need. Versus now, because we have ceded that ability to help to the government, people are now going in and swiping a card, and they're never interacting with what I'll call established Americans. These new Americans don't. I would like to have a conversation with them. I'd love to interview somebody who is an immigrant to this country who's been here for a few years to hear their perspective on the American culture when it's a culture shock when you first get here. But I don't have inroads to that community.
A lot of it's the breakdown of churches and cultural institutions.
Right,
yeah.
But what I'm saying is the war on poverty and the rise of Republicans and Democrats empowering the government to take care of the poor and do this charitable work it killed off the Lions Club, the Shriners, and it made churches anemic. Mm-hmm. And it juvenilized the Christian church. I don't know about the Jewish faith or the Muslim faith, but in terms of the Christian church went from social justice, true social justice, of the Saratoga Club and making sure kids have proper eye care.
Yeah, there were hubs for communities.
Give me 10 steps on how to overcome my anxiety this Sunday. And we've done ourselves a great disservice by basically what Harry said. You have the Democrats robbing us of those opportunities, and the Republicans are totally implicit in all of it. So I think that multiculturalism is good. But in the way that we have it set up now, where we have siloed off communities, and the way that Europe has embraced it, where they try to segregate communities into ghettos, that's bad. That's what I have a problem with.
Yeah.
So we rob ourselves of those human connections when we empower the government to take over the responsibility of human beings to take care of each other.
Yeah, and most people don't look at it as they were robbed of an opportunity. It's that they've assuaged their guilt.
Sure. Somebody's taking care of those people.
Yeah, I pay my taxes. They're good.
It's not...
I don't need to look them in the eye.
I had this life-altering, my friend Michelle, her family adopted African immigrants.
Why are you looking at me?
And...
What'd Tyler call them?
I can't repeat that on stage. My friend Michelle, she's like the nicest person. She's a social worker.
I called the entire continent.
He called all African immigrants and all of Africa.
Not the immigrants. I said Africa.
Right. Africa is a shithole. And I've never seen this girl never mad. She was going to kick your ass. She said, "I'm going to slap you," because Tyler trolled the shit out of her.
And then he clicked at her.
Right.
No, I did not.
All right. Well, we need to wrap up, but
you guys are awful.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
That's why I am a libertarian. I believe in genuine human connection. Trying to connect with... I'm insufferable to be around, but I like to connect with people.
How's that work?
Thank you all for coming out and connecting with us. Even you, Paul. We appreciate you being a faithful listener. Thanks to everyone for coming out. Thanks to Morty's for hosting us. Thank you, Tyler and Harry and Greg, for being on the show. And thank you all to our audience for coming out. And thank you to Avery, who helped us get it set up tonight here at Morty's Comedy Joint. Please, if you're in the Indianapolis area, come out and visit Morty's. They are great friends of our podcast, so they're great friends of you. And we just appreciate them so much, and we appreciate you for listening. So if you found this interesting or enlightening or entertaining, then please share with your friends. That's how we grow. And as always, we promise
to do better next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Join us every month for drama and suspense and memes. A political podcast unlike any other. Join us for We Are Libertarians Live every month at Morty's Comedy Joint in Indianapolis. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com/live.
Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at wearelibertarians.com.